Part 1. When less isn't more. Let's talk about a lie that's been sold to so many of us, especially women, especially anyone trying to be healthy, lose weight, or feel lighter. The lie says, the less you eat, the better you'll feel. That skipping meals is discipline. That small portions are self-control. That going to bed hungry is some kind of victory. It whispers things like, you don't really need dinner, or just push through till morning. It celebrates an empty stomach like it's a badge of honor. But what that lie never shows you is the other side. The racing heart at 2 a.m., the inability to fall asleep, the panic that shows up in the middle of the night for no clear reason. The brain that won't shut off even though your body is exhausted. That's not failure. That's not insomnia. That's survival mode. That's your body screaming, I don't have enough to keep you safe tonight. Because here's the truth. Sleep is not just a spiritual process. It's a metabolic one. It requires energy, fuel, nutrients, blood sugar stability. And when you underfeed yourself, whether on purpose or by accident, your body doesn't reward you with deep rest. It goes on alert. Your body is smart. It's ancient. It doesn't care about your weight loss goals or your bikini photos or your willpower. It cares about one thing, survival. And when you skip meals, restrict calories, or go too long without nourishment, your body doesn't interpret that as discipline. It interprets it as danger. It thinks food is scarce. It starts releasing stress hormones like cortisol to keep you alert, to keep you searching for food, to keep you alive. And that cortisol, it's a sleep killer. It keeps your mind buzzing, your heart pumping, your breath shallow. Even if you feel tired, your system is on. And sleep only happens when the system feels safe to power down. But it's not just about the cortisol, it's also about blood sugar. When you skip meals or eat too little during the day, your blood sugar drops, and your brain hates that. It needs glucose to function. So when levels get too low, it triggers a response. Adrenaline and cortisol surge again to bring it back up. That's why many people who don't eat enough during the day experience middle-of-the-night awakenings. You fall asleep, but then, bam, 2 or 3 a.m. hits, and you're suddenly wide awake. Mind racing, body restless. That's not your fault. That's a physiological response to low fuel. And here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes you don't even realize you're undereating. Maybe you're eating what looks normal to you, or what diet culture has told you is enough. But if your meals are light on protein, lacking in fat, or spread too far apart, your body may still feel starved. Hunger isn't just a growling stomach, it's fatigue, irritability, anxiety, brain fog, and yes, sleep problems. If you're constantly waking up feeling wired but exhausted, if you have trouble falling asleep no matter how tired you are, if your dreams feel chaotic or your sleep feels fragmented, don't just look at your bedtime routine. Look at your plate. Sleep isn't about eating less. It's about eating smart. Eating consistently. Eating enough. Because rest requires resources. Your body needs amino acids to build neurotransmitters like serotonin and melatonin. It needs fat to regulate hormones. It needs carbs to lower cortisol and help you feel safe. When you deprive yourself of those things, you deprive yourself of the very ingredients your body uses to create deep sleep. You're not being disciplined. You're being depleted. And what's most heartbreaking is that many people think they're doing the right thing. They think they're being good. They think they're being strong. They're praised for their control. But inside, their bodies are struggling. Their nights are restless. Their minds are frayed, and they blame themselves for not being calm enough, for having anxiety, for not meditating harder, when all along the solution might not be in the breathwork app. It might be in the sandwich you were afraid to eat. So if you've been skipping meals or cutting calories or pushing through hunger in the name of health or thinness or wellness, and your sleep has suffered, it's not your fault. You've been taught to see food as the enemy, when really, it's your ally. You've been told that less is more. But when it comes to sleep, less food means more stress, more waking, more tension, more fatigue. What you need is not punishment. What you need is nourishment. You don't need to earn your rest. You just need to feed it. Part 2, fueling sleep from the inside out. You know those nights where you do everything right. You dim the lights, put the phone away, drink the tea, take the magnesium, and still, sleep doesn't come. Your body feels tired, but your brain won't stop buzzing. You lie there trying to force it to calm yourself, to surrender. But something in you stays alert, awake, slightly anxious, and you don't know why. You didn't have caffeine, you weren't on your screen, you meditated, you stretched. But here's the thing. Sleep isn't just about what you do before bed. It's about what you give your body all day long. Because your nervous system doesn't reset at night unless it feels safe. And safety isn't just emotional. It's biological. It comes from energy availability. It comes from your brain knowing there's enough fuel to let go. And that's what eating does. That's what nourishment does. It tells your system, you're not in danger. You don't need to stay on guard. You can rest now. So let's talk about how to actually fuel for sleep. First, stop fearing food late in the day. One of the biggest myths in wellness culture is that eating dinner or evening snacks ruins sleep. But the truth is, having a balanced meal at night, especially with protein and carbs, can actually help you sleep deeper and longer. Why? Because carbohydrates help bring cortisol down and serotonin up. They tell your body, the day is over. It's okay to relax. Protein, meanwhile, provides the amino acids your brain needs to make melatonin, the hormone that triggers sleepiness. Fat helps regulate hormones like estrogen and progesterone, which deeply affect female sleep cycles. So that dinner you've been taught to skip or shrink, it might be the very thing standing between you and a restful night. Second, think consistency. One of the most powerful signals of safety for your body is rhythm. Regular meals, predictable nourishment. When you eat at erratic times, skip meals, or snack constantly without structure, your body doesn't know what to expect. It stays alert. It holds tension. But when you eat around the same times each day, say breakfast within an hour of waking, lunch midday, dinner before sunset, and maybe a small evening snack if needed, your body starts to relax. It stops bracing, it starts trusting, and that trust shows up as deeper, more sleep. Third, don't just eat calories, eat nutrients. Sleep depends on micronutrients: magnesium, zinc, B vitamins, iron. If your diet is low in variety, if it's mostly packaged, processed, or restrictive, you might be running on empty, even if you're eating enough. So build meals with real, colorful whole foods: leafy greens, whole grains, nuts, seeds, eggs, fish, legumes, fruit. Variety isn't indulgence, it's insurance. It gives your body the tools it needs to rest and repair. And if you can't get it all perfectly, that's okay. Start with one change, one extra vegetable, one scoop of nut butter, one swap from cereal to oats. Progress isn't about overhauling everything overnight. It's about rebuilding trust, one bite at a time. Fourth, notice how undereating shows up in disguise. It's not always skipping meals entirely. Sometimes it's eating too little out of fear, choosing salad when you actually needed soup, saying no to carbs because a post made you feel guilty, eating only half the meal because you weren't that hungry, when really you were just disconnected. Undereating often masquerades as being good, but your body doesn't need you to be good. It needs you to be fed. Fed consistently. Fed fully. Fed with the kind of care that says, you don't have to run on fumes anymore. When you start eating in a way that supports sleep, your whole life starts to shift. You wake up clearer, calmer, more grounded. Your anxiety softens, your cravings shrink, your resilience grows, not because you hacked your brain, but because you honored your biology. You met your body where it was and gave it what it actually needed. Sleep doesn't come from restriction, it comes from restoration, and that restoration starts at your plate. Part 3. Feeding the body that deserves to rest. You are not a machine that needs less to run better. You are not a problem to be managed or a body to be silenced. You are a living system, a soul in a vessel that needs fuel, rhythm, kindness, and trust. And the way you feed yourself doesn't just affect your energy, it shapes your mood, your hormones, your sense of safety. It shapes your sleep. Because deep rest is not something you earn by being productive enough or disciplined enough. It's something your body gives you when it finally feels supported. And that support begins with nourishment. There is a difference between eating to control and eating to care. One shrinks you, the other restores you. One tightens your chest, the other softens your breath. One keeps you hungry at night, restless and wired. The other holds you through the dark and says, you're safe now, you've had enough. That voice, that inner safety is what you're truly craving, not just peace of mind, but peace in your body. And peace doesn't grow in scarcity. It grows in sufficiency. So what if your next meal wasn't about being good? What if it was about being grounded? What if the snack you've been denying yourself was actually the thing that helps you sleep tonight? What if that extra spoonful wasn't too much, but just enough to remind your brain you're not in famine anymore? What if the way back to rest isn't through control, but through connection? Because here's the truth, most sleep advice forgets. You can't relax a system that feels starved. You can't calm a brain that's scanning for food. You can't soothe a body that thinks it has to stay awake to survive the night. The good news, you don't have to keep living like that. You can change the narrative. not by force, not by rules, but by listening. By asking yourself before every meal, not how little can I get away with, but what do I need to feel full, steady, safe? And then giving yourself that, fully, gently, without shame, because the sleep you're searching for, the deep, nourishing, unbothered kind, doesn't come from restriction. It comes from being fed. And that feeding isn't just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, energetic. It's you saying, I deserve to be held, I deserve to stop, I deserve to close my eyes knowing everything I gave today was enough, and so is everything I'm giving myself now. You are not lazy for resting, you are not indulgent for eating, you are not wrong for needing more. You are a human being with rhythms and needs and a nervous system that wants nothing more than to feel safe enough to let go. So let go, not in rebellion, but in trust. Feed the body that's been running for years without pause. Feed the sleep that's been trying to find you. Feed the self that's always been worthy of care, and rest will follow. Not because you forced it, but because you finally felt full enough to receive it. You've been listening to Eat to Sleep, a podcast from the Daily Health Shift. If this episode helped you reframe your relationship with food and rest, we'd love for you to follow the show, leave a kind review, and share it with someone who's been running on empty. You don't need to earn your sleep. You just need to nourish it. Sleep well, friend.